Hey, this is Trish, and for today's video I have some wonderful news that came out a couple of days ago actually, but it's just now making the media rounds, and that is that the country of Nigeria has outlawed female genital mutilation, which is absolutely incredible. I'm just going to read off of this article really quickly. It says, according to J. Pater Pham, the director of the African Center at the Atlantic Council, he says, Nigeria, just because of the sheer size of its population, has one of the highest absolute number of cases of FGM in the world. He adds that the bill now effectively criminalizes a significant percentage of FGM on the African continent. Quote, one cannot overstate the impact of any decision by Nigeria on the continent, end quote. So essentially what this does is that this means that the majority of women in Africa will now no longer be subjugated to this horrible, horrible practice of female genital mutilation. Now, if you don't know what FGM, female genital mutilation, is, basically it's circumcision. The difference between female genital mutilation and male genital mutilation, as it is commonly done in Judeo-Christian countries like the United States, is that FGM, there are 4 different kinds of FGM. The first kind is similar to male genital cutting in that it removes the foreskin. In females, it's typically called the clitoral hood. But in the worse forms of female genital mutilation, it goes much worse. In fact, the worst kind of female genital mutilation cuts off not just the clitoral hood, the foreskin, but it also cuts off the head of the clitoris as well as the inner labia and even the outer labia. And during the procedure, the girl is sewn up with only a little hole for urination left and a little hole for blood to come through for when she starts her period. And on her wedding night, she is cut open in order to have sex, and then after the wedding night, she's sewn back up. It is truly a horrific procedure, mainly because the girl is not consenting to this. Or if she is, it's a forced consent because she's told that her circumcision will make her more beautiful, she'll be more desirable to her husband, it's cleaner, it's safer, it's healthier. A lot of the same bullshit that's used to justify circumcision of boys here in the United States. Now, in case you're wondering, well, which is worse than female or male genital mutilation, let's just keep it at each one is a horrible violation of that individual's basic human rights to body autonomy and self-determination. Now, if you want to start a pissing contest about which is worse, well then of course that 4th kind of genital mutilation on girls is worse than what boys experience usually. Now, there are horrible cases here in the United States of male genital mutilation gone horribly wrong, and on average 117 boys die in the United States every year from circumcision complications. But if you don't know what the similarities are between the penis and the clitoris, they are homologous. Those inches of erectile tissue that men have hanging outside their body, women have those same inches of erectile tissue, they're just inside. The very tip of the iceberg, as it were, is the clit head that you can see. So, you know, the clitoris is actually a very complex organ. It's very extensive. It has 18 distinct parts to it, and it has legs, and it has like little wing things that go out to the side and around and down. It's a very cool organ. In fact, you know, I've written about it a lot on my blog, so I'll put some links down below so you can read about it. But yeah, I mean, when you're talking about the general male circumcision here in the United States, they're removing the foreskin. They leave the other stuff alone, usually. For this worst kind, the 3rd and 4th kind of female genital mutilation, they're taking not just the hood, but also the head of the clit. And for men, that is homologous to not just the foreskin, but the head of the penis. That very, very sensitive part of the penis. That's what they're taking from women. So when these girls are also losing the inner labia, the outer labia, and then being sewn up, it's actually quite horrific because there's no anesthesia. They might use a knife that's not sterilized, or they'll use broken bottles and just use those shards to do the female circumcision, and then they pack it with like mud and egg and straw, and it's gross. It's very unsanitary, and yes, girls die. It's a pretty horrific procedure all the way around. So the fact that Nigeria has now outlawed this is so important, because it means that other countries in Africa and hopefully in the Middle East will start to outlaw this horrible, barbaric practice. And what it does is it sends a message that, oh, you can't do this to girls. Well, why can't you do this to girls? Well, here in America we say, oh, well, of course you can't do that to girls. However, it used to be common in the United States too. There are women who are alive right now who were part of that practice here in the United States, where it was common for girls to be circumcised at birth or when they were young, just like it's common for boys still. So girls here in the United States weren't safe from circumcision, but it's only been illegal, I think since like 1995. It's like the mid-90s when it was made illegal finally for circumcision to be, it was outlawed here in the United States finally. So anyway, this is just wonderful. I am just so happy to see this. This is a wonderful step towards women's rights in an area of the world that really needs help with promoting women's rights and girls' rights. So you know, this is making international headlines, and I'm hoping that between this and the case with Chase in Florida, that getting circumcision out into the media and making it to international headlines, that will start to really make an impact on acknowledging a child's basic rights to their body, to not be harmed for what? Cultural and tradition? No, we don't need that. Babies can have their body whole, and if they want to change it when they get older, they're 18, that's their business. But this non-consensual circumcision needs to be outlawed around the world. If Nigeria can outlaw circumcision, America can too. Yeah. So anyway, so I'll put some links down below so you can read about it if you don't know anything about female genital mutilation. But yeah, so every day is a step forward, and thank you to those of you who've been sharing my last couple of videos on circumcision, and the video I did about the guy who asked about how his circumcision affects his female partner during sex. A lot of people have seen that because they don't realize that circumcision can affect your partner. So anyway, I just want people to understand basic human rights, leave babies' bodies alone, and just keep spreading the word. Keep getting the word out. Human rights, first and foremost, always. All right, thanks so much. Love you. Bye.